For decades, the Arctic was a frozen footnote, a hostile, lifeless barrier keeping the world's major military powers physically separated by miles of ice. But that ancient ice is fracturing. Deep channels of dark water are now tearing through what used to be a solid, impassable surface. Spreading networks of electric blue meltwater are now scarring the landscape, proving how rapidly the warming climate is redrawing the physical geography of the high north. Receding ice is creating a shortcut, opening brand new shipping routes that shave thousands of miles off journeys between east and west. This thaw also reveals concentrated deposits of oil, natural gas, and critical minerals, wealth once sealed away by a mile-thick ice sheet. The disappearance of the ice has left a geopolitical void. This sudden commercial opportunity is triggering an aggressive race among global powers to claim these new frontiers. Russia holds the longest Arctic coastline on Earth. A geographic head start Moscow treats as its most vital strategic asset. They are securing this frontier by reactivating Soviet-era airfields and deep-water ports, creating a reinforced northern security wall. Moscow maintains this lead through heavy investment in hardware, building a fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers to keep trade routes open, regardless of international sanctions. The High North is a live testing ground for next-generation weapons, with Russian military units training in the world's most hostile combat environment. Then there is China. Despite being thousands of miles from the Arctic Circle, Beijing has spent 30 years labeling itself a near-Arctic state. China's goal is clear: securing trade routes and resources through its polar Silk Road. They are deploying advanced research vessels like the Heilong 2 to establish a permanent presence far from their own shores. This ambition has led to deepening military cooperation with Russia across the Bering Sea. It is a partnership significant enough to pull Pacific allies like Japan and South Korea into the conflict. The rapid Russo-Chinese expansion in the north triggered a sharp response in Washington and Brussels. In 2026, the alliance launched a new mission, Arctic Sentry. NATO is racing to build a high-tech surveillance wall across the top of the world, anchored by remote radar domes monitoring the high north. This perimeter extends to the deep. NATO is mobilizing its submarine fleet to patrol the dark waters beneath the ice, creating a hidden front line. The response is extensive. In March 2026, 14 NATO nations deployed 25,000 troops across Norway and Finland to practice high-intensity combat in the snow. NATO is fundamentally restructuring its northern posture. The goal is to create a military barrier that blocks their adversaries from dominating the Arctic vacuum. But the race for the North is also creating internal friction. It's triggering political crises within NATO itself, centered on the strategic island of Greenland. Tensions have spiked between the United States and Denmark over control of the island. Both nations recognize Greenland as the indispensable cornerstone of Arctic security. The island's radar sites and deep-water ports are so critical to the defense of North America that the conversation has turned dark. For a brief moment, even the use of force between these allies was not ruled out. The scramble for the Arctic is so intense that it is forcing allies to prioritize national interest over long-standing partnerships. This is the new status quo: Russia testing weapons under the ice, China buying influence in the north, and Western allies eyeing each other. The melting ice isn't just a climate story anymore. It's a new global border, where the three most powerful militaries now stand face to face.